This is Mac OS Ken.
President Trump has ticked at Tim, a new old warning in the EU App Store, and CarPlay Ultra finally claims a dashboard. Plus, now it's Ultra. It is Friday, the 16th of May, 2025. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from Mac OS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and sponsored by Insta360's new X5. Get an invisible selfie stick when you buy an X5 standard bundle at store.insta360.com with code MacOSKen. This show is also supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/MacOSKen. With some people, $1 million here, credit for $500 billion there, those things only ever lead to one question. What have you done for me lately? The Guardian had President Trump talking about Tim Cook and Qatar on Thursday. Don't know why he was talking about Tim Cook, but he was. Quoting the president's remarks, "I had a little problem with Tim Cook yesterday. I said to him, Tim, you're my friend. You're coming here with $500 billion, but now you're building all over India. I don't want you building in India." Of course, except for stores and developer academies and stuff like that, Apple's not building in India. Foxconn is. And Tata. What he's talking about are news reports that Apple is increasing iPhone production in India to avoid tariffs on imports from China into the U.S. placed by the U.S. president. While Trump likes to take credit for the $500 billion Apple's pledged to spend in the U.S. over the next 4 years, historically it was about time for Apple to make that announcement anyway. The company made a similar announcement in 2018, pledging to spend $350 billion. It also made such an announcement in 2021, pledging to spend $430 billion. But just like the Texas Mac Pro plant for which he took credit in 2019, with which he had nothing to do, Trump is cool taking credit for Apple's $500 billion pledge. The Mac plant, by the way, also not Apple's. A company called Flex was making Macs for Apple there since 2013, 2 years before Trump even started running for his first term. Anyway, Trump's cool taking credit for all of that, and Apple's letting him. I guess Apple's cool with it, but whether they're cool or not, they're letting him do it. And shocker, now he wants more. The Guardian quotes Trump again. "I said to Tim, we've treated you really good. We put up with all the plants that you've built in China for years, but now you gotta build for us. We're not interested in you building in India. India can take care of themselves. We want you to build here." Trump then said Apple was going to be upping their production in the United States, according to The Guardian, although he did not provide further details to back up the claim. You want to get an idea of how ready some people are to take Apple to task? There's been this story all over the place that Apple is putting what some call a scare screen ahead of European Union app purchases made outside the App Store. For apps that link out to third-party payment options, a piece from Cult of Mac says Apple has posted a new warning in the App Store that says this app does not support the App Store's private and secure payment system. It uses external purchases. This is posted prominently above the name of the application and is accompanied by a red warning symbol. A piece from iDownload blog calls the messaging another hostile move toward App Store developers who dare implement web purchases. A piece from Mac Rumors says Apple has begun placing prominent warning labels on EU App Store listings that use alternative payment methods. And TechCrunch says these user disclosure screens have been live on the EU App Store since the beginning of Apple's DMA compliance plan back in March of 2024. So this is new 14 months ago. They just started doing this 14 months ago. It's another hostile move made 14 months ago. According to TechCrunch, the confusion appears to stem from a single post that gained traction on Twitter on Monday. The post shows an App Store listing for an EU-based app called Instacar that features a message warning users. This app does not support the App Store's private and secure payment system. It uses external purchases. For her part, TechCrunch's Sarah Perez gets how people were ready to jump on this. The incendiary post hit just days after the latest Apple and Epic ruling here in the States. But it's been a thing for over a year. Over on Daring Fireball, John Gruber hazarded a guess. I think this blew up a bit because, despite the fact that it had been around since March of 2024, few of us had ever seen it before because so few apps in the App Store use it. For its part, the banner is not something Apple has hidden. Its DMA compliance documentation says, and has said for 14 months, that apps that contain an alternative payment option are required to present users with a disclosure prior to each transaction or link out to purchase to help them understand that the purchase isn't backed by Apple. So the timing was bad, and the message is, well, it does have oomph. That comes in the form of the warning symbol, red triangle with an exclamation mark in it. You get why people call it a scare screen at that point? 9 to 5 Mac's Ben Lovejoy had a great idea. If Apple simply highlighted the key benefits of buying through the App Store, being able to manage all your purchases and subscriptions in one place, and Apple having your back in the case of disputes, most people would freely choose to use it. When it comes to scare screens and Apple App Store antics, the world at large does not give a flip. Apple Insider has word on the latest Kantar Brandz report, now marking its 20th year. According to the piece, Kantar deems Apple the most valuable brand for the 4th year running. You know, I've been aware of the Brandz survey for most of those 20 years and still makes no sense to me. And yet the whole rigmarole puts Apple on top with a brand value of $1.29 trillion, representing year-on-year growth of 28%. Altogether, the piece says Kantar values the global top 100 brands at $10.7 trillion. Apple Insider says that means Apple's brand value makes up a full 12% of the total value of the 100 brands. That sounds like, hey, listen to me value, doesn't it? Values behind a value like that could really do something. More news in a moment, but first a word from today's sponsor, Insta360, and their new 360-degree camera, X5. Out for about a month now, X5 comes with a ton of improvements over previous models. It features 8K 360-degree video and enhanced low light performance for all-angle shooting, day or night. Larger sensors deliver 8K video with amazing clarity, including night shooting that yields unprecedented detail. The lenses are made from a tougher optical glass, giving them superior impact resistance. There's a new built-in wind guard and an upgraded algorithm for consistently clear audio. It's waterproof up to 49 feet, or down to 49 feet, I guess. And it's got a 3-hour battery life. It is Insta360's most durable 360-degree camera yet, and it's just waiting for you. Head to store.insta360.com to see what they have, and use code MacOSKen for a free 45-inch invisible selfie stick with your X5 standard bundle purchase. The pole disappears from 360-degree footage, leaving people to wonder how you get the shots you got. It's a $24.99 value, but it is free for the first 30 people who go to store.insta360.com and buy an X5 standard bundle with code MacOSKen. Shoot every angle at once. Get your free invisible selfie stick when you buy an X5 standard bundle with code MacOSKen at store.insta360.com. Apple's whole dashboard CarPlay has finally found a dashboard to call home. Probably not going to see it a lot of places anytime soon, though. Rebranded as CarPlay Ultra, a press release from Apple on Thursday says the next generation of CarPlay is available with new Aston Martin vehicle orders in the US and Canada, and will be available for existing models that feature the brand's next-generation infotainment system through a software update in the coming weeks. The release says other car makers around the world are working to bring CarPlay Ultra to drivers. Among them are newly committed brands Hyundai, Kia, and Genesis. We'll wrap the day, as we often do, with news of Apple's TV offerings, including one for which you need no Apple hardware and no Apple services. You do need Xfinity, though. A piece from Mac Rumors says Sunday Night Soccer, the MLS game Apple's made free to anyone with an Apple TV Plus subscription, is going free for Xfinity One and Xfinity Stream customers beginning this weekend. The piece points out Xfinity customers can find Sunday Night Soccer matches for free via the channel guide with no Apple TV Plus or MLS Season Pass subscription required. Back now behind Apple's paywall, and news of a special guest star for Season 3 of Shrinking. 9 to 5 Mac had the Cupertino streamer hitting the Hell site Thursday, announcing Michael J. Fox as a guest for the show. The piece points out that the news marks Fox's first on-camera performance since his second retirement in 2020 due to complications from Parkinson's disease. While we don't know anything about what role he'll play, 9 to 5 Mac says the casting is particularly fitting, given that the show explores Parkinson's disease through Harrison Ford's character. No word on when Season 3 of Shrinking will premiere. Hitting the Cupertino streamer this weekend, there's a new documentary up. According to a post from 9 to 5 Mac, Deaf President Now recounts the 8 days of historic protests held at Gallaudet University in 1988 after the school's Board of Trustees appointed a hearing president over several very qualified deaf candidates. After a week of rallies, boycotts, and protests, the students of Gallaudet University triumph as the hearing president resigns and beloved Dean Dr. I. King Jordan becomes the university's first deaf president. There's more to the description, but you can watch the documentary to learn about that. Deaf President Now is available now on Apple TV+. And finally today, a show that could end up being Apple's next big hit, Murderbot, has made its way to the Cupertino streamer. Based on Martha Wells' best-selling Hugo and Nebula award-winning book series, 9 to 5 Mac says Murderbot is a sci-fi thriller comedy about a self-hacking security construct who is horrified by human emotion, yet drawn to its vulnerable clients. Murderbot must hide its free will and complete a dangerous assignment when all it really wants to do is be left alone to watch futuristic soap operas and figure out its place in the universe. Alexander Skarsgård plays the title character. The first 2 episodes of Murderbot are available to stream now on Apple TV+. This week on the checklist, brought to you by Secure Mac, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau has changed its mind about protecting consumers from data brokers. We'll tell you more. Plus, a look at the security side of this week's OS updates from Apple. That is all on checklist number 423. Find it today at securemac.com/checklist or wherever you get podcasts. macOS Ken, brought to you by me and sponsored by Insta360's new X5. Get an invisible selfie stick when you buy an X5 standard bundle at store.insta360.com with code MacOSCan. This show is also supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/MacOSCan. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media, online at backbeatmedia.com. You can find me on Mastodon, MacOSCan at mastodon.social. You can also send me an email, info@macoscan.com. Until next time, that is news from macOSCan. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.